Revealed. The incredible moment I discovered my parents' dark secret at my graduation celebration. Emma stood at the threshold of her backyard, her cap and gown gleaming like a beacon of hope. It was a spring evening. The sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over the gathering. Friends, family, and neighbors buzzed about, laughter mingling with the mouth-watering scent of barbecue. Her heart soared, feeling the weight of her accomplishment and the sacrifices of her immigrant parents lifting her spirits. But then, a shadow flickered across her joy as Jamie, her childhood friend she hadn't seen in years, approached. His expression was a mix of surprise and something else, pity. "Emma, I can't believe you did it. With everything, your family's history." He trailed off, words hanging heavily between them. Emma's smile faltered, her heart thumping in her chest. What history? Her parents had shared stories of their struggles. Yes, but they were tales of resilience, strength, hope. Their late-night talks had always been filled with laughter and dreams, not secrets. But Jamie's words gnawed at her, a worrying crack in her world. The warm dinners, the bedtime stories, their unconditional love felt overshadowed by doubt. Should she confront them now, at her graduation celebration? Would it shatter everything she held dear? The evening continued. Each cheer for her felt like a buzz of anticipation. But inside, Emma was in turmoil. Her parents, glowing in their pride, chatted with neighbors. A tableau that once felt like her fortress now looked like a facade. With every toast and laugh, her confusion deepened. Who were her parents, really? Was she standing on a hill formed from their dreams, or atop an uneasy truth? As dusk fell, the family gathered for speeches. Emma felt the pressure of her name reverberate in the air like a drumbeat. Gripping the microphone, she looked out at the faces, her family's supportive smiles, Jamie's anxious gaze. I want to thank my parents for everything," she started, her voice wavering. "But I also want to know the truth. Jamie mentioned something about our past. Is there something you're not telling me?" Gasps rippled through the crowd, a breathless silence blanket over jovial chatter. Emma's chest tightened. Had she crossed a line? Faces around her looked frozen, surprise turning into concern. In that moment she felt time slow, the stakes too high. This wasn't just about her thoughts anymore. It was a question of loyalty and love, a delicate dance that could bring down decades of family narratives. Just before the tension became unbearable, Emma locked eyes with her parents. Their gazes flickered with fear, but also resilience, a quiet yearning for connection that resonated deeper than she ever anticipated. The truth hung in the air, the future of her family resting on this one night. Would their shared reality bring them closer, or would she lose everything for seeking clarity? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The tension thickened, electrifying the atmosphere. Emma's heart raced as she stepped forward, desperate for answers yet terrified of the repercussions. The backyard, once a haven of celebration, had turned into a crucible of emotions. For Emma, this was more than a graduation party, it was the reckoning of her identity and the legacy of her family. With every breath, she sensed the profound weight of her decision, an uncharted journey that could redefine their bond forever. What truth awaited them, and would it be the kind that healed, or the kind that broke? Emma's voice trembled, cutting through the quiet like a knife. Is there something you're not telling me? The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of unspoken truths. A hush followed, the laughter and music from earlier fading into the background. All eyes turned toward her parents, their faces unreadable. Her mother's hands trembled slightly, clutching the paper plate as if it were a lifeline. Beneath the layers of makeup, Emma noticed the shadow of fear skimming across her features. Her father's jaw tightened, and for a moment he seemed to age years. The world felt like it was closing in on them. The celebration transformed into a silent courtroom. Emma, her mother, finally breathed, her voice a whisper. "This isn't the time, no. I need to know. If there is something about our past, I deserve to understand." Emma interrupted, her emotions surging like a tidal wave. This had stopped being just a moment of gratitude. It had become a plea driven by a deep-seated need for the truth. "I never wanted to burden you with it," her father spoke, voice low but steady. "We thought we were protecting you." "Protecting me? From what?" Emma's heart raced, confusion battling with anxiety. As the darkness threatened to invade her thoughts, she felt the tiny but sharp shadows of betrayal creep in. "How could you think that lying was protecting me?" The crowd remained silent, breaths collectively held. The backyard transformed no longer a space of joy, but a stage for the unveiling of shattered illusions. She could feel Jamie's gaze hot on her, mixed with concern and curiosity, as if he were the only one who truly understood the labyrinth she was lost in. Her mother stepped forward, eyes glistening. "When we came to this country, we left everything behind: family, friends, our past. It wasn't just a fresh start. It was a sacrifice. We thought by starting anew, we could build a better life for you," she said, her voice trembling with emotions. A knot tightened in Emma's throat. "What does that mean? What did you leave behind?" "I was involved in things, dangerous things," her father admitted, eyes avoiding hers. "Things I'd rather forget, but they keep coming back. We thought we could bury them. We thought you wouldn't find out." Emma's heart sunk, the weight of his words crashing over her like an avalanche. "What kind of things? Crimes? Mistakes?" His voice cracked, revealing the fragility of composed strength. "I didn't want you to think less of me, to see me as something I'm not." She could feel tears prickling at her eyes now, a mix of disbelief and fear. "Is that why we've always been so secretive? Why you never talked about family?" The realization struck her she was the bridge, the bearer of hope. Yet here was this fissure threatening to topple her world. "I didn't know how to tell you," her mother said, a tear escaping down her cheek. "We thought it was best to erase that part of our lives. But maybe there's no erasing the past." The weight of their decisions loomed over them now, and Emma felt an unfamiliar chill crawl down her spine. The freedom she thought she had was nothing but a thin veil over a complex family narrative. Just then, a distant sound shattered the stillness, a loud crash of glass breaking, followed by an argument just beyond the gates. Emma's heart lurched. "What's happening?" she gasped, the intensity shifting rapidly. Her parents exchanged worried glances, and in their eyes, she saw a mixture of dread and unuttered fears returning. "Stay here. We'll find out," her father said, moving toward the source of commotion. But the unease settled like a heavy fog. The celebration that had just begun now felt like an unraveling thread. The truth had been called to the forefront, but was it really ready to be faced? And what awaited her beyond those gates could irrevocably alter everything she thought she knew about happiness, about family, about herself. As her parents vanished into the shadows, Emma stood frozen, the air thick with uncertainty. Would the clarity she craved come at a cost she wasn't prepared to pay? With her heart pounding, she felt time ticking away like a countdown to something unimaginable. What more could she uncover? And were they even ready for the impact of truths long buried? The sound of shattering glass echoed in Emma's ears, pulling her eyes wide open with a mix of dread and curiosity. She glanced around the backyard, searching for familiar faces. The laughter had ebbed away, replaced by hushed whispers, disbelief flickering across the guests' expressions. "Stay here," her father had commanded, his tone both firm and anxious. But how could she stand still? The need to know consumed her. 1,000 questions surged in her mind, all pleading for answers. What was happening out there? Was their past finally catching up with them? She took a deep breath and made her way toward the gates, her heart racing wildly. As she reached the edge of the yard, the voices grew clearer. 2 men were arguing, their tones heated and clipped. "You don't get to walk away like it was nothing," one shouted, his face twisted in anger. Emma's breath hitched as she caught a glimpse of her father just beyond the wooden slats. his posture tense, hands balled into fists, ready for an unseen confrontation. What did he mean? She whispered to herself, each word heavy with fear. What's going on? Jamie's voice came from behind her, pulling her back to the present. He had followed her, worry etched across his face. Emma, this is really not okay. His concern wrapped around her like a warm blanket, and for a moment, she felt a flicker of calm. I don't know. Her voice was barely above a whisper. I need to see suddenly. Her father's voice burst through again, robust yet desperate. I can't let you threaten my family. We've come too far for this. What family? The one you left behind? The other man spat back, his words sharp enough to cut through the tension. You really think you can just erase the past? Emma's breath caught in her throat. She felt like she'd stepped into a minefield, the ground beneath her shifting and unstable. This wasn't just about her parents anymore. It was about consequences, choices, and a dark history she had yet to grasp fully. Who is that? She asked Jamie, grabbing his arm as the weight of realization settled on her shoulders. I don't know, but they look serious and dangerous. His eyes darted toward the two men, his worry palpable. Why now? Why today? Emma felt tears threatening to spill over, the pressure building within her like a dam ready to burst. This was supposed to be a day of celebration, a moment where everything felt right. But now it was unraveling. Just as she was about to step further, her mother rushed back, face pale and trembling. Emma, you need to come back. Please, it's not safe. Not safe? Not safe from what? Emma felt the words clawing up her throat, demanding to be released. She couldn't retreat now, her curiosity was on fire. Before her mother could respond, the man who had been arguing stepped closer to the gate. The air grew heavy, the world around them shrinking as uncertainty took hold. I'm here to collect what's owed. You know that doesn't just disappear, he warned, his icy stare locking onto her father. Get out. You don't belong here, her father shouted, desperation lacing his voice. Emma's heart raced as the man smirked, an unsettling confidence radiating from him. Just remember, you can't run from your past forever. With that, he turned and walked away, but not before casting one last glance at Emma, eyes glinting like shards of glass. For a breathless moment, silence enveloped the gathering. The air felt charged, like a storm was brewing just beyond their comprehension. Emma looked at her parents, their faces a mixture of fear, guilt, and regret. She felt tension like a live wire zipping through the air. What had just happened? What was owed? These questions roared in her mind, expanding into a reality she wasn't ready to explore. But one thing was clear. She couldn't go back to pretending her family was the simple picture they had painted. What was that about? She demanded, her voice trembling with rising fury and despair. Her father turned, eyes wide, guilt etched into his features. Emma, please, there's so much more you need to know. And as he stepped closer, Emma realized the shadows of their truths were lurking deeper than she could have ever imagined. Would she be brave enough to face what lay ahead? Or was she destined to be crushed under the weight of knowing? Emma felt a chill creep up her spine as she locked eyes with her father. His expression was a mix of apprehension and a fierce need to protect her. Yet she sensed there was a truth lurking just beneath the surface. The air felt electric, thick with unspoken words and heavy silences. What do you mean there's more I need to know? She pressed, her heart pounding like a war drum. She was done with vague answers. She craved the truth, no matter how painful it might be. Emma, now is not the time, he began, but the determination in her eyes silenced him. Stop, she interrupted, voice steadying as anger bubbled within her. I deserve to know what's happening. You can't keep me in the dark like this, especially not now. Jamie silently squeezed her hand, a gesture of support grounding her in the chaos. She drew strength from him, needing to unravel the mystery in front of her. Her parents had always taught her that honesty was the cornerstone of family. Now their secrecy felt like a betrayal, a chasm opening between them. Who was that guy? Emma asked, her voice shaking slightly as she recalled the man's cold gaze. And what does he mean by what is owed? Are we in danger? Her mother finally stepped forward, her face a mask of fear as she trembled slightly. He was from our past, Emma. Part we tried so hard to leave behind. Her voice wavered, and Emma felt the weight of those words press against her chest. What do you mean tried to leave behind? Emma's voice was sharp as she searched her mother's tear-streaked face for answers. It sounds like you two are involved in something dangerous. Just tell me already. The backyard felt suffocating as her mother exchanged glances with her husband. Emma stood firm, refusing to back down. She felt like she was fighting against an unseen force, something that threatened to unravel everything she believed about her family. Your father, he made mistakes. Serious ones, her mother finally admitted, tears glistening in her eyes. People don't just forget. They come back for what they feel is theirs. Is this about money? Emma asked, her voice just above a whisper, shock crashing over her like icy waves. You're telling me we're in debt to that man? No. It's more than that, her father interjected, desperation sharpening his voice. He might want something more. Something we worked hard to escape. We didn't think he'd ever come back, that's why we never told you. Emma staggered back, her mind racing. Memories flooded in. The late-night conversations, her parents' hushed tones, moments of unease she had brushed aside. Little did she know, the reality of their lives was far darker than she'd imagined. Why didn't you trust me? She asked bitterly, her heart pounding. I could have helped you. Her father took a step forward, softening. You were just a child when we decided to shield you from it all. We thought we were protecting you, but it seems we just added another layer to the secrets. A tear slipped down Emma's cheek as she grappled with the enormity of the revelations. Anguish and betrayal wrestled within her. She felt lost, like a ship tossed in a storm, desperate for clear waters but only finding crashing waves and jagged rocks. What happens now? She asked, a sense of dread curling in her stomach. The sky above seemed to darken, mirroring the uncertainty swirling in her heart. Before anyone could respond, a low rumbling noise cut through the air. Emma turned abruptly. A car had pulled up in front of their house, engine growling like a beast ready to strike. The door swung open, and her blood ran cold as she recognized the silhouette stepping out. Oh no, not him, she breathed, eyes widening in fear. Her mother gasped, clenching her fists. Emma, you need to listen to me, but it was too late. Whatever semblance of safety they had was about to shatter again. As the man approached, the reality of what lay ahead began to sink in. Could they really face the past together? Would their family survive the truth? Emma's heart raced with a mix of fear and determination. She needed to be ready for whatever came next. There was no turning back now. Emma's breath caught in her throat as the figure strode toward them, his dark silhouette looming larger with each step. The evening light cast long shadows, making him look almost supernatural. He was just as she remembered, tall, imposing, and wearing a smirk that sent chills racing down her spine. Look who it is, he called out, voice smooth and mocking. The little girl who's all grown up. Emma, I senti it? Her father moved protectively in front of her, and Emma felt a rush of adrenaline. She needed answers, but the threat echoed in the air between them, heavy and suffocating. What do you want? Emma's voice was steadier than she felt. Why are you here? The man stopped a few feet away, eyes glinting in the fading light. I think you know why, don't you? Family secrets have a way of crawling back into the light. Leave us alone, her mother interjected, voice trembling but fierce. Emma could see hope and fear battling in her eyes. She sensed her mother wanted to shield her, yet the urgency of the moment demanded action. Mom, Dad, Emma said, her voice rising. What does he mean by secrets? What do you owe him? Her father glanced at her, anguish etched across his face. It's not something you should have to deal with, Emma. Just stay back. But the man chuckled, casting aside her father's protective glare like it was nothing. Oh, but she's already in this up to her neck. Everyone should know the truth. It's such a shame your parents didn't think to tell you. He leaned forward slightly, his eyes locked on Emma's. Your father made a deal long ago, one he clearly regrets. But debts don't just disappear. Stop! Emma shouted, her frustration bubbling over. What deal? What does that even mean? As her heart hammered away, she took a step forward, determined to break through the silent barrier that her parents had built around her. They had been trying to protect her, but now it felt like they were building a prison instead. Emma, her mother pleaded, but it was too late. Tell me, Emma demanded. You owe me that much. The man straightened, crossing his arms. I'll make it simple for you. Your father has something that belongs to me, something he promised to return, but instead he threw it away, leaving me with nothing. A weight settled in the air as those words hung there. Emma looked at her father, his expression torn between shame and panic. What do you mean nothing? What did he take? Enough, her father shouted suddenly, his calm facade breaking. You don't know what you're asking. Then make me understand. Emma cried, voice shaking as she fought to keep her composure. Jamie stepped closer, wrapping an arm around her shoulder, silently reminding her she wasn't alone. The man sneered. Your father's passed isn't over yet, Emma. It never will be until it's settled. His gaze shifted to her mother, who had started to withdraw behind her husband. You two should have thought about that before you got cozy in this little suburb. Tension thickened the air. Emma felt her breaths quicken. The rhythm of her heart pulsed through her ears. Could they really face this together? Who are you? She dared to ask, desperate for his mask to slip. He leaned closer, the faint stench of cologne mixed with smoke washing over her. Just a collector of debts, dear. And your family has a long way to go before they're free. The ominous thrill of uncertainty loomed, a dark storm on the horizon that threatened to swallow everything whole. Emma's stomach churned with the prospect of more truths, deeper secrets, and the chilling realization that their world was about to be turned upside down once more. Enough of this, her father shouted again, his voice raised as he stepped forward defiantly. Get out now. The man chuckled again, eyes sparkling with wicked delight. I'll be back. When you least expect it. Slowly, he turned, hands in pockets, slipping back into the shadows of the night. Left with the heavy silence, Emma felt a whirlwind of emotions crashing inside her. The potential fallout from this encounter loomed over her like a storm cloud, but now they had no choice but to face it head-on. Why didn't you prepare me? She demanded of her parents, voice trembling. You let this happen. Her mother's tears fell freely now, and Emma's heart broke for her. We thought we could shield you from our mistakes, her father said, anguish weighing down his words. But it seems we were wrong. What now? Emma whispered, the future ahead stretching out like an unknown abyss. In that moment, she realized that no matter how dark and twisted the path might become, the family she loved still remained. They needed to confront their past. Together. But as the realization settled in, the doorbell chimed loudly from inside the house, echoing like a harbinger of what they had to face next. A chill crept back into her spine. Who could that be? Was this just the beginning of their reckoning? Emma's heart raced as she and her parents shared a glance filled with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The doorbell's chime seemed to reverberate through the walls, louder than any argument they just endured. Who could be at the front door? Was it a friend? A neighbor? Or worse, could it be the man who had confronted them? Her father straightened up, trying to regain some composure. Stay here, he said, voice low but purposeful. Emma nodded, feeling the weight of the moment settle heavy on her shoulders as he padded cautiously toward the door. Mom, Emma whispered as she took a half-step forward, her voice barely above a breath. What is happening? What did he mean by debts? You have to tell me. Her mother shook her head, anguished. It's complicated, Emma. Before she could finish, the front door swung open with a creak, revealing the last person Emma expected to see. Surprise. A familiar voice rang out, optimistic and cheerful, cutting through the tension like a knife. It was Rachel, Emma's best friend, adorned in a bright balloon-filled t-shirt with a huge smile plastered across her face. Behind her, a small crowd of friends, family, and neighbors gathered, all holding a smattering of balloons, party hats, and baked goods. "Happy graduation!" they shouted in unison, oblivious to the storm brewing moments before. Emma's surprise morphed first into confusion, then into warmth. Her friends had planned this entire celebration to mark her graduation. The moment she had been waiting for arrived, yet it felt scrunched under the heavy weight of recent events. "I can't believe you all came," Emma stammered, forcing a wobbly smile as she stepped outside. She hugged Rachel fiercely, the familiar comfort momentarily distracting her from the chaos swelling within. "Did you think we would let you graduate without a party?" "No way," Rachel laughed, her bright eyes sparkling with joy. But even amidst the jovial atmosphere, Emma felt her parents' tension. Her father remained at the doorway, half turned away from the celebration, unease etched on his features. Her mother stood against the wall, arms crossed protectively over her chest like a fortress, and Emma sensed her desire to hide away from whatever they had yet to face. "Aren't you going to join us?" Rachel asked, pulling Emma into the group, attempting to infuse her with enthusiasm. "Come on. We have cake." But the mystery, the looming shadows of secrets still clawed at Emma's heart, despite laughter and light spilling around her. Part of her was thrilled to see her friends, yet another part wanted to confront the darkness that had knocked at their door. "I'll be right back," she said, deciding to retreat from the crowd momentarily. She needed airspace to think. Emma slipped around to the side of the house, finding a quiet corner away from the laughter and festivities. Her thoughts spiraled, mixing happiness with dread. Was this a chance to celebrate, or were they all just putting on a brave face for her? That man's words echoed in her mind like an insistent pulsing. What if the party was just a distraction? "No," she whispered. "I won't allow him to ruin this." As she steadied her breaths, she felt her phone buzz in her pocket, interrupting her spiraling thoughts. Pulling it out, she saw a message flash across the screen that made her stomach drop. "Emma, we need to talk. It's urgent. Meet me at the old oak tree, please." Who could it be? Was it a friend? Or had she unwittingly drawn in someone else from the past? She knew she had a choice to make in that moment: stay with the celebration or face the shadows at the oak tree. As another wave of laughter echoed from the party behind her, Emma felt a pull in both directions. She couldn't run forever, but she also didn't want this day to slip through her fingers before it even began. What would she choose, to face the joy of her graduation or the tangled mess of secrets haunting her family? With a deep breath, Emma steadied herself. The choice was hers alone, but the clock was ticking and she had to decide once and for all. Emma stood there, heart thudding like a drum, warring between the warmth of friendship and the chill of uncertainty. The old oak tree was a landmark of her childhood, a place where secrets were shared and laughter echoed. Felt both comforting and ominous now. What awaited her there? She glanced back toward the party, bright balloons bobbing in the breeze, the sound of her friends celebrating ringing out like sweet music. Rachel's carefree laugh soared above the rest, reminding Emma of the carefree times they shared, untouched by adult problems. But just past the festivity lay the shadows of her family's crisis, and something tugged at her soul, insisting she unravel it. With a flip of her hair and a final deep breath, Emma turned away from the noise. She slipped into the cool embrace of the shade cast by the looming oak, its branches heavy with memories and secrets, each rustling leaf whispering stories she had long forgotten. Her sneakers crunched on the gravel path leading to the tree, and she quickened her pace, pulse quickening with every step. "Emma!" A voice called from the shadows beneath the oak, both familiar and disorienting at once. It was Jake, a boy she had known from her past one she hadn't seen in years. His tousled hair and earnest eyes brought a rush of nostalgia. He was the last person she expected to see at a moment like this. "What are you doing here?" she asked, a surge of confusion settling in. "I wanted to talk about everything," he replied, his tone somber. He glanced around, as if checking for eavesdroppers. "I heard some stuff that I think you need to know." Emma felt her heart sink. The cryptic message from Jake's concerned expression hinted at nothing good. "Is this about my family?" she asked, dread creeping up her spine. He nodded, shifting awkwardly as if grappling with how to frame his thoughts. "I came back into town for your graduation, But then I ran into some folks who mentioned some things about your parents. A wave of uncertainty crashed over her. Like what? They were asking about a debt, a big one. Something about your mom's past. Jake's words hung heavily in the air. In that instant, the vibrant colors of the party behind her dulled, overshadowed by the stark reality of what was unfolding. Emma's face felt cold, her mind racing. No, this can't be true, she insisted, shaking her head. They wouldn't hide something like that. Emma, you need to listen, Jake pressed, lowering his voice. They're in danger. I've heard rumors from some people who used to work with your dad. They're looking for him, for both of them. It's serious. Her stomach twisted, emotions colliding violently, tearing at her hope for a smooth graduation day. Why would you just tell me this now? Because you deserve to know the truth, he said firmly, locking eyes with her. You shouldn't be left in the dark. But as he spoke, another dreadful realization dawned on her. The party was still happening, blissfully unaware. I can't just leave them alone, she exclaimed, panic suffusing her thoughts. Emma, you need to decide, Jake responded urgently. You can have this perfect moment with your friends, or you can take a stand for your family when it matters the most. The clock ticked ominously in her mind. She needed to act. With every heartbeat echoing in her ears, she felt torn between two worlds, a joyous celebration and a looming storm. Emma took a step back, deliberating between the light and the dark, caught in a tempest of emotions. What would she do next? Would the danger claim her family's happiness? And just as doubt crept in, another message pinged on her phone, illuminating the screen with a stark reminder of the urgency she could no longer deny. Would she confront her parents about the truth and sacrifice her celebration, or slip back into the warmth of the party while secrets festered in silence? As she weighed her options, she realized time was slipping away. What would she uncover as the shadows deepened around her? Emma's breath quickened. The laughter from the party felt distant, like an echo in a cave. The summer sun filtered through the leaves of the oak, casting dancing shadows on the ground. But all she could feel was the cold touch of fear wrapping around her heart. I need to find my parents, she blurted out, the weight of Jake's words forcing her resolve. If what you're saying is true, they could be in real trouble. Jake nodded, his expression serious. I'll help. We can look for them together. They need to know that you're aware of everything. Where would they even be? She asked, glancing back at the party. Would they be laughing with their friends, oblivious to everything swirling around them? Let us head to the car, Jake suggested, pointing toward the parking area. They might have stepped away for a moment, or there could be something we're missing in the house. Emma felt a flicker of hope. Maybe if they found her parents, they could confront whatever it was that was threatening their family. Time felt like quicksand as she turned and rushed alongside Jake, her heart pounding with every step. Once they reached the parking lot, she scanned the rows of cars, desperation creeping in again. We shouldn't have waited. They could be in danger right now. I should have listened to my gut. Don't blame yourself, Jake reassured her, his voice steady. This isn't easy for anyone. But the key is staying calm. We're gonna figure this out. Emma nodded, but the unease roiling in her stomach made it hard to breathe. She pulled out her phone again, her fingers shaking as she typed her parents' names into the search bar. She swiped through social media, hoping for some glimpse, some hint of where they might be. In the background, the party continued to pulse with life. Her friends, her family, also unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Do you think they knew about this? Emma finally asked, glancing over at Jake, who had been watching her intently. Maybe, he said slowly, but that doesn't change what we need to do next. We have to confront them. A chill shot through her. Confront them? She felt a mix of excitement and dread at the idea of revealing what she had learned. What if they deny it? What if they've been keeping it from me for a reason? They might have wanted to protect you, Jake replied, his gaze unwavering. But you deserve to know the truth. You need to decide what to do with it. I get that, Emma said, frustration rising. But it doesn't help how scared I am. If things get messy, I might lose it all. I can't handle that right now. It's better to know than to live in the dark, Jake said firmly. She bit her lip, feeling the weight of his statement. But the decision pressed down on her like an anvil. Did she want to be shielded? Or did she want to uncover the truth, even at the cost of her innocence? Okay, she said at last, steeling herself. Let us go home. They walked quickly, the shadows behind them growing longer as the sun sank lower in the sky. The path felt uneven, every crack in the pavement a reminder of the uncertainty ahead. Emma thought of her parents. What had they buried beneath the smiles? What truths lay hidden behind closed doors? And as they approached her house, her heart raced. Would she find answers or only deeper questions? As they stepped into the familiar threshold, a sudden thought hit Emma like a punch in the gut. What if her parents had prepared for this moment all along? What if they were waiting for her to confront them? The door creaked open, shadows of doubt and light illuminating their path. She hesitated, hand hovering above the doorknob, breath catching in her throat. Was she ready to face whatever lay on the other side? What truths would unfold when she stepped inside? Emma's hand trembled as she finally turned the doorknob and stepped inside. The scent of lemon and vanilla wafted through the air, remnants of the party still lingering. But the usual warmth of home felt cooler now, almost strange. Mom? Dad? She called out, her voice echoing in the quiet. Jake shifted nervously beside her, glancing around the dimly lit living room. A soft murmur of voices drifted from the kitchen. Emma felt an urge to bolt in the opposite direction, but curiosity held her in place. Could they really be waiting for her? Let us check the kitchen, Jake suggested, his voice barely above a whisper. She nodded, forcing her feet to move forward, the sound of their steps muffled on the plush carpet. They approached the kitchen door, and Emma could now hear laughter, genuine, carefree. With every step, her heart sank a little more. It felt wrong that her parents were so lighthearted after what was happening in their lives. As she pushed the door open, the scene before her froze her in place. Her parents stood with a few close family friends, glasses raised in a toast. They looked so happy, so alive, completely unknowing of the turmoil brewing in Emma's chest. Surprise. Her mother beamed, spotting her at the door. Emma blinked, shock piercing through her like ice water. What's going on? She stammered, meeting eyes that reflected confusion. This wasn't just a graduation party. It was a celebration of secrets. They looked like they were marking something significant. But what? Emma! Her dad rushed over, his face flushed. You're just in time. We were about to tell everyone about the exciting news. Exciting news? Emma felt dizzy. For a split second, she considered backing away. The joy that filled the room felt like a cruel joke. What could possibly be exciting when everything feels like it's falling apart? Jake glanced at her, worry etched on his face. He stepped forward, sensing her struggle. Emma's right. We need to talk to you too. Now. Their parents exchanged worried looks, and suddenly, the air thickened with tension. Emma felt the walls closing in, every crack in her parents' seemingly perfect facade becoming painfully visible. Maybe we should sit down, her mother suggested, gesturing to the dining table adorned with colorful desserts. Emma shook her head. No, I can't sit. I need answers. Sweetheart, I promise her mother started, but Emma interrupted, her voice rising higher. I want to know why you've been keeping things from me. I want to know what Jake and I might be facing. The room fell silent. Emma's pulse raced as she held her parents' gaze. This wasn't a conversation. It was a confrontation. Emma, we wanted to protect you, her father finally said, his face stricken with worry. There are things we didn't want you to carry, but I can carry them. Just tell me. Emma shouted, the urgency spilling out of her like a flood. From behind her, Jake stepped close, offering silent support. Emma focused on her parents, ready for the truth that might tear their family apart. Then her mother inhaled deeply, eyes shimmering. Okay, then let us explain. That was when the doorbell rang, cutting through the heavy atmosphere. Emma's heart dropped. Who could that be? Mom, Dad. The truth, she began, but her mother gestured for her to wait. They all turned toward the door, tension thick in the air. Stay here, her dad said, frowning. I'll get it. As he walked away, Emma felt the ground shift beneath her. What if whatever was at the door was connected to the secrets buried in her home? And just like that, the heaviness of anticipation twisted her gut. The moments stretched. Would her parents finally confess? Or was something else about to disrupt their fragile peace? Emma's breath hitched. What awaited her behind that door could change everything. The door creaked open slowly, and the familiar sound of her father's cautious voice called back into the room. "What is it?" His tone was tense, laced with a dread that sent waves of anxiety coursing through Emma. "Mr. Calderon?" A deep voice rumbled, resonating from beyond the threshold. Emma's heart raced as she strained to hear the footsteps that followed. Clarity and chaos merged in her mind. Her mother's fingers trembled on the table, and her eyes darted nervously toward Emma. The party atmosphere was gone, replaced by tight-lipped anticipation, a moment suspended between two very different realities. Suddenly, her father stepped back into the kitchen, his face paler than before. "Emma, it's someone I didn't expect." The words hung in the air like storm clouds ready to burst. In an instant, a figure emerged behind him, tall and rigid. Emma squinted, her heart dropped as recognition crashed over her. It was the same man from earlier, the shadow of their past darkening the doorway. "Good evening, everyone," he said smoothly, his eyes sweeping over the room like a predator assessing its prey. "I see we're having a celebration." His smirk deepened as he leaned into the entrance, utterly unfazed. "Why are you here?" Emma's father demanded, stepping protectively in front of her. "All in good time, Alejandro," the man replied, his cool dismissiveness sending shivers through Emma's spine. "But first, I believe your daughter has some questions. And I, for one, think she deserves answers." With every word, the tension grew thicker, heavier. Emma's heart sank further, turning to lead. She felt the weight of her parents' fear suffocating her. Yet the truth burned behind her eyes like molten lava. "Get out," her mother said, her voice trembling as she stepped forward, fierce yet fragile. Emma couldn't help but admire the way her mother faced down their past, despite the quaking in her limbs. Now, he shrugged nonchalantly. "We can do this the hard way, or we can have an adult conversation." "Enough!" Emma shouted, feeling the fragile thread of her world snap. "You think you can just walk in here and dictate terms? What do you want from us? You owe us nothing." The man's expression darkened, and for a moment, Emma thought she saw a glimmer of something unyielding, a flicker of animosity that turned the air electric between them. "You and your family have something I want back. Something your father promised long ago." "Leave my family out of this," her father shot back, fury igniting in his veins. "This has nothing to do with Emma." "It has everything to do with her," the man replied, drawing closer, his demeanor malefic but strangely, eerily calm. "Her very existence was built on the echoes of hidden debts, and debts must be paid." Clarity hit Emma like a punch to the gut. She realized now how entangled their lives had become. "You knew?" she whispered, direct and fierce. "You were waiting for the moment to strike. You've tormented my parents, trying to pull them back into whatever darkness they've tried to escape. But we're done being held hostage by your threats. What will you do about it?" he challenged, eyes narrowing with a terrible confidence. "You're just a child who thinks she can play with shadows but knows nothing of their dangers." "Don't talk about her that way," her mother interjected, stepping between them as her father clenched his jaw, the tension palpable. "We are not afraid of you or your threats. And yet here I am, standing right in front of you," he replied, his tone mocking. "But let us cut to the point, Alejandro. I want what was promised: your silence, your compliance. Or I'll make sure Emma understands just how far your family's mistakes stretch." "No!" Emma shouted, tears of anger stinging her eyes. "You will not use me as leverage." Determination radiated from her with each breath. She would not be the pawn in this game. Her parents stood together now, a united front against the storm swirling inside their home. "You thought you could erase us," her father declared, voice steady despite the raging tempest around them. "We've come too far. This ends tonight." Brave words, the man scoffed, though a hint of uncertainty crossed his features. But bravery alone won't suppress the past. You will not walk away unscathed. I will return, deeper in shadows, with the reminders of what was lost. Then come back, Emma said, fierceness igniting within her, and we will face it together. Stop hiding behind shadows. The man studied Emma for a moment, realizing that her fierce spirit was forged from the love and strength of her family. Just as a dark cloud hung in the doorway, it began to lift. Uncertainty softened his features as he smirked, turning away slowly but leaving a foreboding promise hanging behind him. Very well, but remember this moment, he called over his shoulder, retreating into the darkness. The past has a way of creeping back in, and I'll be there to collect. The door clicked shut, leaving an empty silence in his wake. Emma turned to her parents, breaths heavy, hearts racing in unity. What are we going to do? She asked, voice barely a whisper. Her dad stepped forward, racked with a mixture of shame and pride. We face it together. We tell the truth, whatever it takes as a family. From now on, we don't keep secrets, her mother added, reaching for Emma's hands. We will be honest with each other and with ourselves. Whatever has been hidden, we will confront together. Emma held their hands tightly, feeling the pulse of a new, unbreakable bond forming. They were standing at the edge of clarity, armed with the knowledge that together they could face any danger. As the sound of laughter and celebration began anew behind them, Emma realized that they were no longer hiding. They were stepping into the light, ready to unleash the power that came from love and honesty. The shadows may have threatened their family, but now they had the courage to shine bright through them. Together, and with renewed determination, Emma knew they would take their stand, and nothing would break their spirit again. Now is your moment to join this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others discover this journey. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Join the movement now.